My head says Jim, but my heart says tacos.
So, welcome to part 2 of Hill Country, Texas during the winter time. So we have moved from the coast to inland. We showed you Fredericksburg and all the fun that you can have in Fredericksburg and around Fredericksburg.
Can you hear the geese in the background?
Can you hear the geese? They're having a great time over there in the river.
Right.
Now we are in Bandera. Bandera is...
Cowboy capital of the world or the U.S.?
I don't know, just cowboy capital.
I think it's of the world.
But it's a whopping population of 900. And there's several different RV parks. We are staying at the Bandera Pioneer River RV Park, which is not bad. If you stay for a month, it's only $350. That's really cool. Right. So that's a good thing.
I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, yes?
Wearing my fancy
We're wearing our
Roman
t-shirts.
with Ramsays t-shirt.
Yep. Roman with my nomies.
Right, so we're actually, while we're here, we're planning a trip to San Antonio to go to the Alamo and check out the Riverwalk for a little bit. Going out for a hike again because there's a state park that's not very far from where we're at.
$6 a person.
Okay, so you can't come to Texas and not talk about the most famous attraction, the Alamo.
The Alamo.
Alamo is down in San Antonio, and we wanted to share some things and some tips about it. Parking. When we went, we found a parking lot that was maybe 2 blocks away from the Alamo. Now that parking fee was $25 to park, but again it was for a 24-hour period, which was kind of nice, so you didn't have any time restraints, but still a little expensive. You walk over to the Alamo. Now when we got to the Alamo initially, we kind of stopped at the lines because that's what you do, right? We'd already seen online that, you know, there's free admission, there's no fees for admission, so we're like, okay, let's get in line. After being in line for a couple minutes, I overheard somebody talking, and oh, you got to check in at their little visitor center, which is an outdoor like kiosk thing. Right. So you go over there, you check in. They do their tours based on time.
Right. So you can't reserve ahead of time on the internet like you can for a lot of other places. You do have to actually show up. You get into the line at the visitor center, and then they give you a ticket. And they tell you when you can get into the other line that is in front of the Alamo. So make sure that you don't go to the wrong line, like we did.
Right. And there is more tours than just the free tour?
Yes, there's an audio tour where they give you a pamphlet and they give you like a phone type of thing. The audio tour is $7 a person. And then you have a guided tour, which is $15 a person. So you do have a couple of different tours that you can choose, whatever you like to do. If you really want to get a lot about history, you go with the guided tour.
Right. So a couple things to know is they do not allow any photography or video recording while you're inside their buildings there. And they also don't want you to touch any of the walls. It's the whole part of the preservation process. So we don't really have any video from inside the Alamo because of that.
Right.
But we do have a little bit from outside.
So when you go, after you go through the church, which is the only way to get into see the rest of the Alamo, then you go outside of the church and it comes open. It opens up like a courtyard,
like big courtyard
type of thing. There's statues out there that tell you, of course, different history. There's a timeline out there, and there's this fabulous tree. Okay, this tree is massive, and it's really old. So in 1913 they transplanted this tree, which they think was already 40 years old, from one location to the Alamo, and it's still standing today. So if it was 40 years old in 1913 And
it's a lot of years old now.
And this is 2022. How old is this tree?
Like 119 years right there. Just saying.
So, have you guys ever been to the Alamo? Do you remember seeing this tree? We were there, what, 33 years ago, and I didn't remember any of it.
So hey, if you like this video, now's a great time to go ahead and hit the like button. And if you're not subscribed yet, one, why not?
Right?
And two, do it now.
Right?
While you're down there hitting subscribe.
You can ring that little bell. That way you'll be notified every time we upload new content. You don't want to miss anything, do you?
Right. So now let's get back to San Antonio and talk about the Riverwalk.
Shopping, shopping, and eating.
I like the last one.
And shopping.
The eating part. You tried throwing in another shopping on me. That's not
right?
going to work.
Oh, we can go to a bar.
I like that one.
All right. So let's start with the walking. I didn't mention that, did I? Yeah, there's a lot of walking on the Riverwalk. It's really cool. They have
I wonder
a
if
lot
that's how it got its name, Riverwalk.
Walk along the river in San Antonio. Now this river is actually a natural flowing river. They did not make this river. They just made it to where it didn't flood the city of San Antonio. So it's a natural river, which was really cool. We didn't know that until you take a boat ride.
Boat ride.
On the river, right? While you are walking on the Riverwalk area, there's also a lot of bridges that cross over. That way, if you see something on the other side, you can go to the other side. You can also watch the boats go underneath the bridges. So really just a lot of fun.
Yep.
And we ate right on the river.
Right.
We found a restaurant. Gordon wanted Tex-Mex, so he got his Tex-Mex.
How do you not want Tex-Mex when you're in San Antonio area?
Right.
So what we kind of did was we walked up one side and then crossed over and walked back on the other side. That way you get to experience both, and you don't got to keep going up and over and across and all that.
And you can do that too if you really wanted to.
Yeah, if you need the steps.
Right. So after we ate lunch, then we found where you get onto the boats, which is just down past the restaurants. I don't know which direction it was. It was that way.
So I can help. So if you're coming from the Alamo to the Riverwalk, you'll go over the river and then make a right-hand turn. And then go that way for a while. You're going to go by a bunch of restaurants, a couple bars, and then you'll come to, what was the name of it?
It's called Go Rio. And it is $13.50 for normal people, adults. It is $10.50 for veterans, military, or seniors.
She's really not that normal, and no, I'm not a senior.
But you are a veteran.
I am a veteran.
So for my dad and for you, it was $10.50. For me, it was $13.50. It's about a 1-hour boat ride, and they give you a lot of information about San Antonio, about the river, some of the buildings that are on the river. Oh, you know, that movie, Miss Congeniality with Sandra Bullock, the stage that she did the swimsuit contest in, it's on the Riverwalk.
Another cool thing that he pointed out while we were on the boat ride was as you're going under one of the bridges, the footbridge that goes over the top, as you're coming out on the other side, there's this really tall building. If you look straight up, the way the building is shaped, it looks like it's just as flat as can be. And I thought that was really neat.
It's a hospital. And so you know it's not flat because there's a lot of rooms in the hospital.
He points out a lot of really neat things. Right toward the end of our tour, he pointed out the Esquire Tavern, which is the oldest bar in the area and was opened the day after Prohibition came to an end.
In 1933.
They have like a 100-foot bar top in there. Really cool atmosphere, just a neat place. Even if all you do is just go walk through, I would suggest at least going in and checking it out real quick.
Yeah, it was pretty cool to see that.
And supposedly they make some really good cocktails, so...
We didn't stop long enough to try it. We just kept walking right on through just to the other side, just because that's what we had time to do.
It gives me a reason to go back.
Right?
In the Bandera area, about 11 miles away from where we are, is the Hill Country Natural State Area, which is similar to a state park.
Right.
Great place for hiking. When we went there, we did about a 5-mile hike. We got a chance to take Sky with us and do the hike. Now, one thing you got to know is you have to share the trail with people on bikes and horses or mules. So I thought it was pretty neat because while we were there, while Alice went in and got us kind of registered and signed in, Sky and I watched a couple of ladies getting their mules ready to go out on a nice ride. And then, of course, they passed us while we were on the trail, which was pretty cool. Sky didn't seem to mind the mules too much. No. I think she thought of them as big dogs.
Right. Yeah. So the fee, $6. That's not bad. $6 a person. And like I said, like Gordon said, there's a lot of hiking trails in there, so you can pick and choose which trails that you want to do. We did the one that's an overlook, so we got a nice view of the area and the rolling hills of Texas. It was really pretty.
Yeah, and you know, another thing to think about while if you're coming to this area, depending on what kind of camping you like to do, there is camping areas out there. So if you want to pack in some tent stuff or something like that to a more remote area to do some camping, that is available up there, and they do have access to it. The rangers, I'll call them, have access to it via ATVs, so they go out there and they keep the area neat. And when we went, it was I mean, there weren't a lot of people around.
No, we came across
one other couple
mules. Hiking, and then the two ladies on the mules, so it wasn't busy at all. Right. So it was a very nice, enjoyable walk. You don't have to worry about being in a hurry because somebody's behind you.
Right. And one thing you're definitely going to want to do is, you know, if you're bringing a pet with you like we did with Sky, if you bring a dog, just keep in mind the terrain you're on. It's gravel in some areas, it's sand, it's a little bouldery in some spots, lots of rocks. There are some cactus around, so you may need to, you know, just be cautious of that and at least know about it.
Right.
Because Sky has not been on this type of terrain in quite a while, we are making sure that we check her feet every so often. That way, if we see anything going on with her pads, we do have her booties with us, and we will be able to put her booties on to prevent any further damage to her feet there. That way, we don't want no limping or, you know, have another vet bill of having to take her to a vet because of sore feet.
All good,
feet are all good?
All good.
We are going to continue walking.
Yeah, and don't forget your water.
Yeah.
You know, it's hot and sunny.
Don't
forget your water. So when you're staying in the big town of Bandera, which is
huge,
a whopping 900 people, you know, but it's a cute little town.
It is a cute little town.
On the weekends, they do have like cowboys on Main Street, which we talked about earlier, but we get to meet Redneck, the longhorn, and that was really
Somebody had to get a picture sitting on top of Redneck.
Right?
You got a picture? Come here. To get on me. You don't do anything at work. Put your arm over in there.
Like this?
There's a horn over in there. There's your picture. Wow.
Look at him!
What's his name?
Redneck.
Redneck, huh? It's a big horn.
Right?
And there's, if you want to take a wagon ride, they have horse-drawn wagons that you can take a ride and just walk around the town and go to some of the bars if you want to go check out the bars because they're really old and it's just really cute. There's one that's downstairs that, you know, was 103 years old. So there's history in this town too.